There we go. Sorry about that. Okay, let's pick this up. I'm hoping this will be the last one. You need to get your least common denominator of your baby fractions. If you look at your baby fractions, the only thing that you have down there is u. This is the type, this is a good example of when you have to use the least common denominator method because you have, it's not one single fraction over one single fraction. You have some addition up here, you have some subtraction down there. So you've got to get the common denominator of your baby fractions, which happens to be u. So we've got u over 1, and then we've got u over 1. So when we go through and we multiply that, you're distributing. So this is really just a plain old u times 2. So 2u. The reason I wrote it this way is so that whenever you distribute it here, you can see that this u is in the top and this u is in the bottom, so they cancel. So you're going to get this part. So 2u plus 1. Now come down here and do the same thing with the bottom. So this is u times 1 over u. So top, bottom, they cancel. Okay, so that gives me the top of it is 1. Now I've got to do u times 3. So I do minus 3u. There is nothing to factor, so you cannot reduce. This is your answer. All right, so let's go again. So the common denominator of your baby fractions is x minus 8. So I got x minus 8 over 1, and then I got x minus 8 over 1. Okay, so when we go through and we multiply, I'm taking this times the first one. Okay, your x minus 8, you've got one here, you've got one there, they cancel. The only thing you're left with is 7. All right, come through and distribute here. Nothing reduces because this is in the top as well. So you've got x times x minus 8. All right, go to the bottom. X minus 8 times this fraction. Once again, they cancel because you got a top, you got a bottom. So they're gone. I'm just going to get what's in the top. Bring down the plus, and then x minus 8 times 1 is just x minus 8. Okay, now you've got to clean up the top part of that because that looks suspicious. We may end up being able to factor stuff and reduce some. So you got to do x times x is x squared. X times 8 is, let's see here, negative 8x. Okay, in the bottom I've got x. The 1 and the negative 8 go together and I get a negative 7. Oh, this looks suspicious. If you take the top part and rearrange it to where it's in descending order like normal, we can factor that. And I bet we're going to be able to reduce this. Okay, what two numbers multiply to 7 and add to give you 8? So that would be 7 and 1. Signs are the same, both negative. Boom, boom, there you go. X minus 7 is a repeat. So you can reduce it and you're left with x minus 1. Sweet. Okay, so we've upgraded, we transitioned into the equations. So solve for u. In all honesty, it's so much easier if you will just multiply the entire equation by the common denominator. So you need to get the common denominator first. So find your LCD and then multiply the entire equation by that. When you do, your fractions should disappear. You shouldn't have any more fractions left. Fractions should disappear. Go away. Should go away. Okay. If they don't, you got a boo-boo. All right, so if you look at this itty-bitty tiny baby equation, your common denominator is just u. So if you will multiply everything times u. Now we can go as slow and show as many details as you want. You do that, you're distributing. You're saying u times negative 2 over u. And I'm saying u times 4, which is 4u. So here, they cancel, and I got negative 2 equals 4u. Well, divide through by 4, reduce your fraction. So that's what I got. Now, you do have to watch out in equations. You have to watch for those restricted values. That was the very first thing we talked about. So always take note of what the bottom can't be. Here, our denominator cannot be 0. There's nothing to solve, so the only thing outlawed is 0. We didn't get 0, so our answer is just fine. Okay, here we go again. Least common denominator. Well, we only got 1, so you're going to distribute through with x minus 5. So I'm going to multiply that times both of these fractions, or both of these terms. So that's negative 4 times x minus 5. And when I say this right here, well, let me just write it. I'm going to multiply that times this fraction, negative 3. Just put the negative up there with the 3 so it doesn't get lost. You see now that this thing goes away. So you just got negative 3 over here. On this side, you can distribute it subtract your 20. So a negative 4x equals a negative 23. Divide 3 by, oops, I need a negative 4, don't I? All right, my negatives cancel, but nothing else does because 23 is prime. Okay, so far that seems like that's my answer. Check your restricted value. Your denominator cannot be 0. So move that 5 over. That means x cannot be 5. So we are good. All right, go to the next one. Okay, we got more fractions. We have more denominators, but they happen to be the same. So we're going to multiply everybody by our least common denominator, which is y. So let's just distribute a y times everybody. So y times 8 is 8y, and then I'm going to do 5 over y times, oops, that looks like a 4, my bad. I get my wiggle. Okay, so 5 over y times y. Remember that's y over 1. So if you need to put it over 1 so you don't get confused, then put it over 1. All right, so that was the original fraction, and you're multiplying it times y. Okay, now the whole point is that these better cancel and your fractions disappear. So you've got 8y minus 5 equals 27. So add 5. 8y is, what is that, 32? Oh, yeah, it works. So y is 4. Is that allowed? Yes, because our denominator can't be 0. That's the only thing that we can't have. So 4 is good. All right, so, we upgraded. Common denominator, least common denominator. What is the smallest number that both 6 and 8 go into? Hopefully you're thinking 24. And we have v's. So as long as we got 24v, we should be good. So we want to multiply everything by 24v. So I'm going to do 24v times v minus 1 over 6v plus 24v times 1 over 8 equals 24v times 1 over v. Now, again, all the fractions better reduce. You got a boo-boo. So v's cancel. 8 goes into 24 3 times. These cancel. 6 goes into 24 4 times. So then you should be able to multiply everything together. But do you see that all our denominators were eliminated? So I got 4 times this binomial. So make sure you distribute 4v minus 4. And then I got, don't forget that v, 3v times 1. So positive 3v. And then 24 times 1 is just 24. So like terms together is 7v minus 4 equals 24. If I add 4, I got 28. So once again, I got 4. Is 4 okay? Yes, because if I set these denominators that have variables, if I set either one of them not equal to 0, remember if you divide that, that's just 0. V can't be 0, which is the same thing you get for this one. It's just V can't be 0. So that's the only thing restricted. 4 is okay. We're good to go. All right. Going to be a little bit different, but go ahead and do the restriction. You know that the denominator can't be 0, so if we come up with a 6, we're going to have to scratch it out. So every term gets multiplied times y minus 6, because we got to have that common denominator. So I got to have 4 times y minus 6. Then I'm going to have this fraction right here multiplied times y minus 6. Remember, that's over 1. So if you need to put it over 1 so you don't get confused, you do what you got to do to get it right. Okay. You're looking for all your denominators to cancel. So they should have matches. This guy didn't have a denominator to start with. So 4y minus 24. Okay, over here the only thing left is a 6. And over here the only thing left is a y. So that kind of got small real fast. So I got 4y minus, what is that, 18 equals y. Okay, now be careful here. Don't get kind of crazy. The right side has already been claimed by y's, so even though it's going to make it negative, bring on your y's over here. That'll be a negative 3y. Divide 3 by negative 3. So that's going to make that positive 6 equals y. Are we allowed to have a positive 6? That's our restriction, right? So he's not allowed to be an answer. Throw him out. That means we don't have an answer. So you've got to do whatever no solution, empty set, whichever version you want to use. You have no answer that works because the one thing we came up with is not allowed. Okay. Ooh, factor. Got a factor. So take the 5 out of 5u minus 10, and that would be u minus 2. Now, if you notice, we have a duplication here. Both of them have u minus 2. So when we're doing LCD, we know we got to have a u minus 2, The only other thing that's in a denominator is that 5. So we got to multiply through by all of that. If you're thinking restrictions, if you set that right there equal to 0, the only part you're really interested in is the part with the variable, because that 5 is going to divide out and he's just gone. So that's u minus 2 can't be 0, so u can't be 2. That's the only thing we've got to watch out for. So if I come over here, and I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to take the whole thing and I'm going to multiply it times 5 u minus 2. All right? Don't lose this negative. He kind of turns into the bar, so be careful with him. Negative 6. I'd stick him up there so I didn't lose him. And then you're going to multiply that times 5 u minus 2. That over 1. Okay, and then I've got equals, and then copy this next fraction. Do it with the factored bottom. Okay, so you got all that, and you're going to multiply him times 5, and then u minus 2. All right, he's over 1. And then, ooh, I'm running out of space. I got 1 times 5, what is that? U minus 2. Okay, that's, again, over 1. Now cancel out, hopefully all of your denominators go away. So u minus 2 goes, 5 goes, u minus 2 goes. So no denominators other than 1, so we're good. So I've got these two things that need multiplying. So that's a negative 30. I've got my equal sign, and then over here the only thing I have left is a 3. So I've got that. Then I've got a plus 1 times all this. So isn't that just positive 5 times u minus 2? I know that kind of got messy there, sorry about that. So if you distribute that, that's 5u minus 10. Okay, get your like terms together. So you got negative 30, and that's going to be 5u minus 7. Let's bump this up. I thought I was. Okay, add 7. If you do that, we got negative 23. It's a nice little prime number. You can't do anything with that. That's negative 23 over 5. Is that restricted? No, the only thing restricted was a 2, so this is good. Get it and move on. Okay, so for this one right here, make sure you factor, and when you factor that, that's going to be y minus 4, and that's going to be y plus 3. You should have been highly suspicious because these little things were over here. You're going to take every term and you're going to multiply it times the common denominator. By the way, restrictions are y can't be 4 and y cannot be a negative 3. Yeah, I'm moving fast. I'm trying to get it in. So, let's see here. Let's do it the really quick way. Instead of showing all the steps, hopefully I won't lose you. Okay, put your least common denominator up here, and do it like you're just distributing normal. If you multiply everything by that, when I do that right there, the y minus 4's cancel out. So this and this are gone. I'm left with the 1 up top times the other guy. All right, when you move to the next one, the y plus 3's cancel. You're left with what's up top times the other guy. All right, bring down your equals. When you get to this one, everybody cancels. The only thing you're left with is top guy. So that's your equation. You got y plus 3 plus 2y minus 8 equals 10. So that's going to be 3y minus 5 equals 10. 3y equals 15, so y is 5. Let's see here, I got y equals 5. Restricted values are 4, negative 3, so I'm good. Okay, so let's see how fast I can do this. Let's multiply 3 by x. X times x is x squared. X times this one, the x's cancel, and I get 16. So x times negative 8 is negative 8x. X times this one is 4, positive 4. So when you see that square, that means you push everything to one side. So he's got to hop. Put them in descending order, so the 4 comes over here and joins his constant buddy. Okay, I got to wrap this one up. And that'd be 12. So we should be able to factor what two numbers multiply to 12 and add to 8. It sounds like 6 and 2. Signs are the same, but plus, so change your signs. X is equal to a negative 6 and x is equal to a negative 2. Are they both legal? What was our original denominator? X, right? So x could not be 0, so these are great. Real quick, if you did this one, that's x minus 5 and x plus 5. That's your common denominator. So if you multiply everything by that, it should reduce fairly quickly. You've got y times the other guy. And then you've got, in here, you've got to bring down your minus, and you just get the top because both of the bottoms go. Bring down your equals, and you're going to have the top times the other guy, which is y minus 5. So y squared plus 5y minus 26. I'm trying to